go.
Okay, welcome to Making It Here. I'm Selina,
I'm Brant.
and we're the co-hosts of the show. And this is Rudy. Today we're welcoming Rudy from the Artisans of the Okanagan in Summerland.
Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome. Thanks
Thank
for
you very
joining
much.
us. So, to start with, before we get to this beautiful store, we would like to know sort of a little bit about you, where you grew up maybe, and how you managed to get to Summerland.
Well, I wasn't expecting that, but I kind of grew up all over the place. My mom was a school teacher. We moved to the northern Peace River, and my husband and I were married very young. We came to Summerland in 1979, I believe it was, with our children, and I worked at different stores here in the Okanagan, and a few years ago I retired, 10 years ago, and opened the store. So that's it in a nutshell, easy.
So, and what was the great inspiration? Like, what gave you the idea to have a store like this?
That's easy too, because I really had no inspiration. It was actually a friend. I was at a Women's in Need fundraiser in Naramata, and the windstorm came up, and this big umbrella came flying at all my wine glasses, and could have been a disaster. And we were able to stop it from breaking everything I had painted. And one of the girls works at the Royal Bank. She said, Rudy, have you ever thought of having a pop-up store? And I said, a pop-up store? What do you mean? And she said, well, there's lots of empty stores in downtown Summerland. Why don't you, let's meet on Monday and see who's got one available. So we did, and we got into Penny Lane, and that's where we started. And yeah.
There you go.
And that's how it started, with 5 people.
And so this is Artisans of the Okanagan, and it's a well-known artisan store. I'd say one of the most known in the Okanagan in some respect. And so you've been operating for how long?
10 years now, yes.
Yeah.
And I think what makes it special is because it does handmade local products, and we don't add other things to it. And West Bank Harvest came many years ago. They probably went with me one of the longest, 9 years, and it just keeps growing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Well done.
Yeah, because the variety, you sort of don't take a whole bunch of anything.
No, we try and limit so we don't have 4 people doing juice, because then nobody makes any money. And we do have some 3 or 4 different things of jewelry, but everybody makes a different jewelry. I don't let the same one come in, and So.
And it's sort of like a little family, is
Yes,
it not?
yeah.
I feel like it's a little family, and everybody helps each other and cooperates. And I know Rudy personally, and she promotes everybody's stuff
That's right.
very well. She goes through and she knows every vendor, and I think there's about how many here now?
105.
Okay.
Up to 105.
Wow.
Yes, really growing in the last few years.
And Rudy sort of makes it a point to get to know every vendor and what stuff they have and what, how it is. So it's easy to promote, because you're here probably more than anybody whenever you can get to come down. So
as an artist yourself, you haven't, my perspective is you haven't come from it from outside to manage other artists. You're the artist that originated at the beginning.
Yes.
And then you saw what it takes to make things, and the effort and the craftsmanship of unique products. And so you said you were starting out before the store with your wine glasses.
Yes.
How long have you been painting?
So I've been painting for about 23 years. I was in a car accident, and so I couldn't do much with lifting my arm and stuff. So a friend of mine, again, another friend, she said, well, I do a Christmas ornament, which is these little guys here, and class. And she said, would you like to come? And so we did some birdhouses on an ornament, and Merry Christmas, and some trees and stuff. And I mean, that's really not my thing. I'm more detail. So I went home and I practiced my quail, and that's how it started. And I thought, well, if I can do Christmas balls, why can't I do wine glasses and beautiful other things too? So that's how it all started.
Totally.
Yeah, so that's been about 24 years now I've been painting.
And your quail to me is fantastic.
Thank you.
He's
gorgeous.
Yeah, every time I look at him, I think it's a very unique thing, and I don't know anybody else that does.
No, I mean, they all paint, lots, we have beautiful artists on the wall and lots of paints, but and it takes a lot, because it's about 3 hours to do one of these glasses here. And so it's a lot of love goes into them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you have to love it, because otherwise you don't, it's not something you make money on.
Yeah.
Well,
everything. Yeah, love is it.
And that's the whole store. You know,
Yeah.
people realize that in Summerland, it's a little different than other stores like the big cities. The prices can't be at the top end. It's got to be in the middle because we're a small town and people don't have a lot of money here. So we try and have prices for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really important because
Yeah.
it's that bridge between where the quality is, but very often quality means it's just for a millionaire. And how can we keep, that balance?
Yeah.
And the glass as well is an unusual medium, I think, because a lot of other artists will use virtually every other medium but glass. What made you choose glass?
Just because I could hold it in my hand because of my disability. That was very simple. I couldn't do I couldn't lift my arms and stuff.
Bigger
so,
canvas.
Yeah.
I was my touch to get a good thing, right?
Yeah. Well, there's always something good comes out of something bad, right?
Yes, I really believe that.
Yeah.
So what would you say, have there been any real pitfalls, or what's the hardest thing you find to manage a store like this?
Well, I don't like managing the store, but the pitfalls, it would definitely be not getting support from the local government and from the provincial governments for small business. It hurts. They want everything done exactly how they want it done, and yet, they to me, they don't seem to be there to help you. They pick on the little things that aren't really important in a small business.
Right.
And then, for example, this summer when the fires went through, Summerland and Penticton were fine, and yet they closed the highway, told the tourists to stay away. Well, it just about killed the businesses. It's hard when they and then they don't say, oh, we're open back, open back up, come on down to Summerland. Nobody sells you that. And then we had the rock slides, and then we had on each side, we had Penticton one and Kelowna, both ways. So it was hard this year. It was a bad year. COVID we got through, but these two rock slides, it's been tough. So
Yeah, because it basically shuts off the whole highway going through, so there's not much you can work around that.
And but there again, thank goodness that we have locals that support us, and because our price point is good, people come in and still buy our stuff. So that's we were able to keep the doors open.
That's good.
That's nice, and that's the difference between you and the government. They're in for money, and you're in.
Well,
for
and that's
love.
the other thing here in this store. The staff is all volunteers. I volunteer my time. My husband volunteers his time for the accounting end of it, and it's we love it. That's why that's why it works. Is because we both love having the store, and it's not something that you make money on. The artist, we try and make sure they make a little bit, but it's that's what it's all about. Is the artist.
I think that's so key that we need to encourage that education to people, because now so much is like fast food, buy off Amazon, get stuff dropped at your door that's the same stuff in every country basically, and poor quality or low quality. And as we need to survive, I think many people don't realize that the world still functions on small family operations, artisans, craftspeople, food producers, farmers, and that's what we really need the government to be behind, because as long as we're only behind the big corporate mass-produced things, we're going to end up with lower quality and without the heart.
Yeah.
If we don't have that heart, that's what makes things, if every farmer in the world that's really a family farmer that's working the land, they've got to have their heart in it, or they just don't do it, and the next generation doesn't do it.
No.
So I really admire that.
Yeah,
Rudy,
no, it's all the artists, all 105 of them, they still love that little bit of making it themselves, putting it out there, producing it, growing it, baking it. It's yeah.
Yep, and lots of enthusiasm, so that's always nice too.
Thank you. Yeah, I try and make sure that the staff is happy and make sure they greet people at the door. There's it's so important. People want to be known and recognized when they come through that door.
Indeed.
And also the flexibility. I've always loved the flexibility. Like if you decide you want to go away, you fill in, and then if you have something coming up, we try to fill in or something like that, so that it's not that cold, hard 9 to 5, show up, nothing matters. It's always that human touch that I think really makes the store a success.
Thank you, Selina. That's what we want. We're just a big family,
Yeah.
and we keep it getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, right. We got to stop having kids.
Yeah,
It's a
we
population explosion.
well, that's why I keep saying to anybody that will listen is, please, if somebody wins the 649, let's buy another great big building and have it for the artist. You know, like that's what it should be all about. You know, not who knows who could get their artwork in the art gallery. You know, that's like.
Yeah, becomes just another caste system.
Yes.
The wealthy
Yes.
and the less wealthy.
And the sad day when you think you might retire, do you think somebody else will
Ooh.
carry it on?
I've suggested it to a few people, but nobody really wants to volunteer that much time. They don't have an accountant husband, which is a really big part of running, you know, because there's so much work that needs to be done month end and then year ends. You all, if you have your business, you know that what your accountant costs you, and in a small store like this, if you have to pay those fees, it doesn't work. If you have to pay a manager, there's no money for a manager. It just doesn't work. So nobody really wants to put that. But somebody, you never know. Somebody will come along and say, "Hey, I love what you do, Rudy," and I'll take it over. So yes,
Maybe somebody that wins that 649.
exactly.
And
And then they can pay somebody.
Yep. Anyway.
And so 5 to 105 in 10
Yes.
years.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
Yeah.
And that's how much of a, like, describe the process that you did to kind of bring people in and keep them.
Just word of mouth. The people like yourselves, you're at a market in Peachland, you're sitting beside somebody that does beautiful baby clothing, and then Selina suggests that they come up and see Rudy, and then they come, or somebody's that does chocolates at one of the big events, and then somebody's, oh, they were so good, and then they come and talk to Rudy, or I give them a call and say, would you mind coming in? And stained glass, we couldn't find anybody that was doing stained glass, and so then I just made a few phone calls, and a couple of people came in, and now we have 2 people that do stained glass, so it's great. You know, that's how you just word of mouth.
Okay.
If I see something like there was a glass blower that came into the store, and I didn't get to talk to him, and he didn't leave his number for the girls, but that was one I missed, you know, and I didn't, because I didn't have a contact, and it was in the summertime, so he could have been, I don't know why he hasn't come back, but, you know, maybe he'll see that the podcast had come.
Yeah. There's one at the
that's right.
Kelowna Farmers Market right now. Another
Yeah,
one
see?
I haven't seen before.
Right? So
Lots of little things.
yeah, so maybe that might be, you know, so that's how we find them.
That's great. And then what does it take to, like, what kind of, I guess, community connection do you find? Do you have an idea of how many people actually come into the store every year or every month?
No, we don't keep track of any of that. It's just
It's just an easy flow.
just
and,
let it go. Yeah,
Yeah.
just let it. Yeah, and we have our repeat locals that come all the time. We have people come from up as far as Kamloops to cut some of our products in the store. So that's pretty neat when they say, oh yeah, I come down all the way down. I come down once a month. Another family, there's 2 of them that come from Kamloops, and one comes 1 month and one comes the next month. And I'll tell you what it was. It was for the cabbage rolls and pierogies that Jane makes. They're so good that people come from all over the Okanagan. Oh, farther, Princeton, Oliver. You know, even people in the Kootenays come because they're so good. Yeah, Kamloops.
And I think we get regular people back, even like from Calgary, and like the days that I'm here, I noticed that we get Calgary. One day we had Egypt and Germany and England, and like people stop in here
And they come back the next year.
Yeah, and the same as we do. Like if we ever get company, we bring them through the store
Yeah.
because it's such a unique place to come for gifts. You don't repeat. Like if you're getting a gift, it's very unique.
Yes, for sure.
Handmade gift. So. So what else?
Everybody went quiet.
Well, I don't know what else we cover. So what do you say? Cover your products that are in here, like basically the from what you can remember, like from a lot, so people would have what they can't see. Maybe they'd have an idea of.
That's okay. Well, you could just everything from jewelry, juice, pierogies, woodwork, metalwork.
And artists
on the wall,
paintings on the wall,
birdhouse makers. There's not much we don't have.
Birdhouses
we don't
to
have
baby
it.
clothes.
Yeah, beautiful new baby clothes.
And the chess sets, I forgot the chess
Oh,
and
the
cribbage
chess,
boards
the
are
woodwork.
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. The
Pretty
little
little-
quail here from the pair. You get mom and dad and the two babies, and we sell a lot of quail, a lot of wine barrel work. This beautiful table is made out of wine barrels. We have the plant stands. We have the wine racks. Lots of beautiful things that are.
Chocolates, candles.
Yeah.
I saw the beautiful little baby books, fabric
Yes,
baby books.
yes.
I love those.
Those are so nice, to throw in the washing machine when baby chews them all up, and
That's great.
And the new babies, my new enthusiastic thing is that woman that does the little booties
socks
and the
and
socks.
Oh.
Socks with the tiniest little stitches in there, and they are so beautiful, colorful. Oh my gosh, it just like, even if you don't have little feet.
Well, and booties have kind of gone out of style. The regular baby booties that my kids wore, and but now this sock is just like, they're so cute.
So anyway, and talk about your hours again. You're open.
Yeah, so we're open from 10 to 4:30 during the week. Most of the year, in the summertime, we open 7 days a week, and in the wintertime, we're open 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday. Sorry, and it works. The odd time we stay open late. We stayed open late last Thursday. Was okay. Then Friday night, people thought it was Friday night, and so I stayed here till 5:30. Because they thought it was Friday night was the open house. So they got the dates mixed up because Thursday isn't a normal day to be open late.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, Thursday's not a usual late night opening, so you just sort of don't think about it.
And so there's a new group of store owners here in Summerland that are trying to promote better, go out in the valley more and promote. And so they're going to try and do a monthly open late, do something special, sip and shop, or so that'll be nice to have some promotions. I think in January or early February we'll do a sip and shop, which we've had one a few years ago. It's very successful. You come and you get one of the wineries to pour wine, and the customers come in and get a sip of wine and shop, and so they can be very successful.
Go ahead.
You first.
Oh, I was just going to say, and you also promote the local ticket sales now.
Oh,
like
great.
There's a Jazz and Marty Edwards and several.
And the Mosaics. So they need somewhere to sell their tickets, so they ask us to do it. And there again, that's another thing that you have to want to promote artists, because it's a lot of work keeping all that money straight. And but it's good for the artists. Like, that's what it's all about. Doesn't matter if it's not art that you can sell, but it's art you can go see. It's still art, right?
And it brings people to the store.
That's right.
And then if they haven't been, then they always come back. I noticed the last people, now they know tickets are here, and
they've never been in the store before, and now all of a sudden they come.
So I think that's another nice community thing to do.
Yeah.
And they're quite
you're promoting art.
Yeah.
And that's like our just one thing on our bulletin board. People want to just put their for sale stuff up there, and I said no, it's strictly for art and art alone, or children. If it's something to do with children, then we'll promote it. But don't just stick your banner
having a garage sale.
Having a garage sale, because I'll take it down. So, and that people respect it, and it's done really well. So,
and we always say, if we're in doubt,
ask Rudy.
You can put it up there, and Rudy will take it down if she doesn't like it.
Exactly.
If it doesn't fit in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So that works. So what were you going to ask? I'm sorry.
Well, I was just wondering, what's the actual population, like sort of within a short driving distance, that you're really at the core of, would you say?
Oh, I think it's quite large, because we get a lot of customers from Kelowna,
Okay.
and Armstrong, because there isn't really another store like this in the Okanagan.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a few that are similar, but certainly not to the variety that we have, or the friendly staff that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just people really appreciate what comes into Summerland, and they love to come down and shop Summerland too. That's another. And we have a great thrift store, and people love to come to the thrift store. That's right. That's right. And and Summerland's a pretty unique little town. So, and being a unique store, then it it helps.
The topography and everything.
Yeah.
And how it's spread out.
Yeah. So we have vendors from. There's something else that we talk about, is because we have vendors come from Oliver Osuyas, OK Falls, Princeton, Merritt, as far north as Enderby, what am I missing? Lumbee, Kelowna, Penticton, Naramata, Carameas, Summerland. Did I
Do
miss
you have
Princeton?
anybody from Big White?
No, I haven't anybody from Big White.
We might be finding someone for you.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Joel.
Oh,
And
yeah, he's from Big White, the guy who's saying mushrooms.
And so I'd imagine it's possibly even over 100,000 people within an easy drive. That
Sure,
can come
if not
in.
more,
Yeah.
because all over Osuya is Penticton. Yeah, and it's hard getting it out there because cost of advertising, you can't do it.
No.
Because we don't have a budget. So it is only word of mouth, a little bit of Facebook stuff, which is not my thing. So it's
Yeah, every bit helps.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the vendors themselves promote a little bit. So yeah, so it's a very big. Oh, we have Rock Creek. That's another. We have an artist from Rock Creek. Yeah,
So to dig down a little bit further, because what I'm hearing is as you've done these things over the years, there's a real core that you've had of strength to move through adversity, to deal with the situations that you were dealt, and then to continue to perpetuate. Most businesses fail within the first, I think it's 95% fail within the first 10 years. And you've been doing this 10 years, and you've got not just yourself, you've basically raised a collection, a family of artists, and revealed them to the Okanagan and encouraged their whole business and their own creativity. So as you've done that through your life, what do you see as kind of been your source of your strength that you've been able to do this from when you were young?
Good question, but I really don't know. It's just my personality. I love people. I love arts. I love children. I try to get along with most people. I mean, we all have the ones that we can't get along with. I love art. I really love art. I guess that's probably. And my mom's got to do with it. She was a school teacher, and she was quite an artist. And we didn't even try to be an artist with her because she was so good. It wasn't part of the competition, right? You just don't even go there. And so it was like only 25 years ago that I even knew I was an artist. And that's kind of a cute story because we had the Quest Society does art in your yard. And so my yard was chosen to be one of the guests for the people to come to visit on the map. And I had this artist, her name was Gail, and I loved her painting. She was just a beautiful painter. And I said, and I bought 2 or 3 of her pieces. And I said, oh, Gail, I think you're just the best artist I've ever, that I know. And she says, I'm just a local teacher here. Our teacher. And she said, and I love to teach. And that's the one who asked me to come and do the ornaments eventually. But she said, I said, I can't even do a stick man. She says, oh, Rudy, look at your yard. She said, you're an artist. And I said, I'm what? And that's when I first found out that I was actually an artist. So anybody can be an artist if you just somebody points it out to you. So
Indeed.
Yeah.
So what kind of art did your mother do?
She was a painter. Yeah.
Okay.
Acrylics, oils. Yeah, she was a very beautiful painter.
Like scenery, wildlife,
All of it.
everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, she did a lot. She didn't do a lot for herself personally, but she did a lot for school, her kids in school. Her blackboards was always filled with beautiful artwork that she just take a chalk and draw on the board. Yeah, it's kind of neat. Yeah, she was a big inspiration to me. And running a place like this is kind of what she would be very proud of, that I've done this, accomplished this kind of a.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So.
That's a bit like my grandmother, Selina's mother, like all the hard work that generation did, Now we talk about 9 to 5 and maybe we should just work 9 to 3 but for the generations that raised this country up from its roots, it was 24 hours a day.
Yep.
And you tried to get a little rest in between time. And it amazes me when Selina talks about her mother being able to draw a herd of horses, just pick up a pencil. Like, when did she have time to practice that? It was within her, and to have those moments where she did her art and it just flowed. And it's an incredible inspiration anytime I see that. And then the people that perpetuate that there's really such a small percentage. Even now, the people that buy books and read books is a small percentage.
Yes. Yeah.
And what you get from that, to me, the relaxation of doing the art, the creativity, and the inspiration of sharing that with others, I think is so healthy, like mentally healthy.
Yeah, and actually that's a good point, because when I'm feeling, not at my best or something, I go downstairs to my studio and start painting, and I just and pretty soon Ray's saying, well, what's for supper? And I go, oh,
You tell me.
How can it be already 6 o'clock? I just came down 5 minutes ago, and the whole day is gone. Like, it's just, because I'm so doing what I'm doing, and so I'm sure other artists are exactly the same. You just start painting and you just keep going.
And it's a nice mental escape, like you say, because a lot of people get lost in wherever they are and they don't seem to be able to have an escape. And I think that's why they get really depressed and down and everything, because they don't have those things
to go get out of
a happy place
Yeah.
where you can just get away from that. So
I'd almost use a different word than escape, though, just because, like, you're really creating something. It's not like, I think many people escape where they're not productive. Well, when you're actually creating something, you're making something real that you can then carry on, share with others, make a business out of, and it is an escape. But it's
I meant
not
escape
like
from your problems, not an escape from
it's more like you're directing and channeling your energy
to creativity.
And I can't remember who said it, but it was something along the lines of, if you're struggling in life, go out and do a hard day's work, and you'll all of a sudden find that the struggle is not what you thought it was. And just having that focus to put your time and effort. I mean, I like to relax as much as anyone, but there's something about the act of creation that to pour your energy into is the salve of my soul.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
And that's what the store has been. It's just, sure, I could have retired 10 years ago instead of opening a store and been in Arizona every winter and, do all those things. But what I did when I did, my husband and I, we did do that for a few years before I opened the store. I would go down there, I would paint, and then go to the craft sales and sit there at the booth and sell my products. So I went, like, why not just do it right here in Summerland?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't have to pack up the motorhome and drive all the way to Arizona then. So.
And living your passion. There's nothing that replaces that.
No.
It's and people often, if I shouldn't say often anymore as I've gotten older, but sometimes people still ask me, like, what do you like to do? And I say, oh man, well, it's a long list, write and art and design and landscaping and architecture and martial arts, and there's all these things that I find myself inspired by, and it helps me carry on through the work of life.
Yes.
And another thing here at the store, people have asked me, is that because you have 105 vendors and how we keep all this, because everybody has their number and everybody has their money. And I don't think in all that 10 years, anybody has really ever been shorted or anything, because we have so many. Rudy has so many double checks. We have a book and the till and the other thing, and there's so many checks and a book at home. And I think that's another fantastic thing, that you can keep 105 people and their money's all straight and goes in the envelope, and they all have their numbers, and it works.
And it just came out of nowhere. I said, well, okay, how can we do this? So we gave, everybody gets a bag, and their money goes into the bag. And then, my husband did a spreadsheet, and then, and then being an accountant, he could do all that, right? Yeah. And you have to have all that. It's got to be so accurate. You got, and people say, well, I'm missing a necklace. We do have shoplifters. It didn't get stolen from inside the store. It's, we do have shoplifters, and so that's the risk of having a business. So,
and a business of tens of thousands of tiny little handcrafted objects that are spread out
for sure.
throughout a store.
Yeah.
And even occasionally, because of Rudy's checks, you have somebody, like we had at one time 5 Debbie, Debbie, and Diane, and and anyway, but all of a sudden something would go, but because of all the checks, we just go back and maybe it got put in the wrong Diane's envelope, and we've always found it. I don't really believe you've always gone home and you can come up with...
Well, because we have another check, there's the check's written, it's written down, the number's written down. The computer tells me that, no, Selina didn't have any sales this month, so she shouldn't have had a check in her bag, Yeah, right now we got Lisa's. We got 3 leases.
Oh.
So, yeah, so.
Yeah, we always end up 200 billion names
Yeah.
in this store. It's an overabundance of
Yeah.
double ups.
Yeah.
But anyway,
No 2 Rudys, no 2
no,
Selinas.
that's right. Two of a kind.
Look
Yeah.
out if that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be pretty
But
hard.
yeah, I mean, I thought that was a fascinating thing that
Thank you.
everybody
Yeah.
keeps so nice, and it's not a lot of electronic work or anything.
No,
It's
it's
just a
all hand-
manual.
Yeah, we handwrite every bill.
Yeah.
And then people
Wow.
say, well, can we, can we
That's a
just
lot.
get a printout from the computer, from the cash register? We said, well, no, actually, the cash register wouldn't be able to handle 105
Mhm.
different artists, and then we'd have to memorize like the codes at Safeway, and we, we're a volunteer staff, so there's no way. We write it all handwritten, and everybody's got it, and then we have a receipt, so, yeah.
And they can have their coffee. But anyway, so I think, is there anything else that we didn't cover that you can think of that we should tell people?
Well, I'd just like to thank you guys for
Mm.
for doing this. It's very nice, and
Our
I hope it-
pleasure.
yeah, I hope that you guys succeed and our cameraman there. And
Yes, thank
yeah,
you,
well,
Juan.
and thank you very much for coming down and showing our beautiful store off.
Yeah, well, thanks for
Absolutely.
taking the time, and I hope it wasn't as nerve-wracking as.
Oh, it was, but
Oh,
it's
you're,
okay.
yeah.
it's okay.
Nothing.
Yeah, you're a
nothing to
natural
worry
there.
And
about.
it's just, it's all what comes naturally. You just
Yeah,
work yourself into a sweat, but
yeah.
then you realize when you start talking about your product day, that's what it's all about, is the art.
Yes.
I mean, that's what you do every day anyway. Just
I do
you
the
just don't
customers.
do it in front of the
Yeah,
camera.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I do maybe talk too much, but the customers seem to appreciate it too, that, because I always ask them where they're from, and, sometimes how I started the store, how some of the vendors have been here so long, like we try, engage your customers, like that's so important.
Well, Brent and I've
sure.
always said that about the farmer's market. It's not about like selling juice. Sometimes it's even people come in here. This one lady laughed. She says, I always come in Thursday because you guys are always talking about something. It's nothing to do like some kind of life advice or
Yeah.
whatever we're doing. But I said, I think people as a whole are lonely and they want to go somewhere where people take an interest in them and actually care about that they're here.
For
Not
sure.
just what are you going to buy, but actually care that they came
Yeah.
even to look. I think that's another nice side of this store.
Yeah, and we have customers that keep coming back. They've had tragedies in their lives, and so they come in and we can give them a hug, and talk to them and make them feel a little better. And so that's what the small community is all about too. So
So, as a wrap-up thought, how would you offer your best guidance to new artists? What would you say to people starting out or thinking about getting into some kind of art or craft?
I think that goes back to my story about my friend that said that when I couldn't do anything but a stick man, is so many people are artists, whether it's baking or your gardening, how you detail your car. It's all a form of art. People are very artistic, and just do it. Just do it. That's come talk to Rudy. See if
There you go.
Yeah.
Get somebody to give you that confidence, because that's all you need.
Yeah, just confidence, just be out there.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Rudy.
Thank you very much for-
again for
Yes,
joining
you
us.
bet.
That
Thank you
was,
for-
and it's always
Yeah.
so nice
Yeah.
to.
Yes, nice, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And cut.
And that's making it here.
Oh,
Whoops.
Don't
got to
forget
say that? Okay,
well-
and that's making it here.